Hey everybody, and welcome back to another cast of The Lord of the Rings, The Rise of the Witch King. I'm your caster, Master Cloud, and today's map is going to be on I believe it's called Tournament Gundabad. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but probably close enough. And I believe this is a 1 versus 1 map, so don't get to see very many 1v1s in my replay pack. So I am a little bit excited to cast this game. Most likely it's going to feature myself, and I'm going to be spawning. I would assume it's going to be myself. Once the game loads, I can be sure. It is going to be... No, this is actually a 2 versus 2. Alright, so we're just in for a regular 2 versus 2. I'm spawning as Goblins in the bottom right-hand side as Master Cloud. My ally on the left here is going to be Solstice. Am I reading that right? We're just going to call him Solstice. Oh, Solstice. I thought that was an I, but I think it's an L. So this is going to be Solstice. He's my ally, of course, as Isengard. Now in the top we have, this is going to be Brieds. I guess we're just going to call him Ha as the Dwarves. So we got Ha and Solstice. And finally his partner is going to be Angmar, spawning as Prendor. Now the only people worse to go against than the Dwarves as Goblins is going to be Angmar. And that is because Angmar has a single spell that can be used by their sorcerers, which kills all the Goblin Warriors in absolute one hit. And the only viable strategy when going Goblins is basically to go for Goblin Warriors. So basically, Angmar is almost a direct counter to the Goblins. However, there are ways around it. It's just difficult, involves lots of micro, and we'll see if I'm up to the challenge today. Now, my partner Solstice is actually going to be going for, of course, that early clan steading. There does seem to be a lot of buildings on the field very quickly. I wonder if this is a 1K game or a 2K game or what. I guess I probably could have looked at the beginning, but too late now. I don't see any heroes out, so maybe it is just a 1K game. And as this battle gets underway here, looks like I am going to be going, of course, for the Goblins. You can go for the half-troll Marauders as the opening, as your opening unit. However, that is so expensive. Now, Solstice actually building some wild men off the start, but just sort of rallying them down into the bottom of his base here. Oh, of course, he's going for the Goblin layers. Looks like there's one on each side down here. So that's what he's going to be doing, just to grab some extra income here to start off the game, get a leg up on his opponent. And it looks like our opponents, Ha and what's this guy's name again? Prendor. Ha and Prendor are both going to be doing the same thing, going for that early extra income. Now, what am I going to be doing? I actually have left mine alone. Looks like I'm just massing up Goblins right now. Actually, I've sent the Goblins over to my opponents. Now, hold on. Am I not against Angmar? Is my ally going to be purple? I'm sorry, guys. I completely messed up. So Prendor is my ally. Solstice is my opponent. Yes. So Solstice is my opponent. So it is a horizontal. It's going to be a horizontal battle rather than vertical. I did not realize this. So I am going to be going for that forward mine here. Goblins versus Isengard. A lot better than Goblins versus Angmar, so that's definitely good. I lucked out on my part here, and I will immediately take down that mine. So already Isengard in a little bit of trouble. He has snuck his builder up here, so he will be able to get away with building an extra mine up there. And these wild men are continuing to press forward. I do not have any clue that they are coming. Now it looks like the forces of Angmar are going to run into some Dwarven Guardians here. However, these actually braving the pass of the mountains here. And with that rally call on, all of these Angmar troops are basically screwed, and he absolutely needs to fall back, which he is going to do. Looks like he's just spamming Thrall Masters for now, going to try and mass those up to deal with his the Dwarven enemy. Now, I have a couple unit of Goblins out and actually building a second mine inside my opponent's base, or just above it, rather. And with that, I should be able to easily reinforce Goblins. I should have 2 or 3 Goblin Caves by now, possibly even a 4th. Actually, I am going for those half-troll Marauders to get a little bit more beefy of a unit on the field. Now, finally, the Dwarven Guardians are pushing forward. but Rally Call is about to wear off, and with that Whirlwind, he does trap them inside all of this Orc Horde. However, these the Extras have like charged right in. They definitely want to stand back and throw axes, but that Rally Call actually lasting a pretty long time. These units still have that power up, so they will be able to take down all those Orcs no problem. And now Angmar in a lot of trouble. My ally Prendor here going for those Wolf Riders now to deal with these Guardians, of course, because there are no pikemen. Now it looks like the majority of my Goblins down here were taken out before they could even take that out. And these Wildmen chasing down possibly some last of my Goblins, or thinking about launching a counterattack. I do see a couple units of Wildmen, 2 units of Wildmen here trying to bypass my defenses. They're going to go straight up here. However, I don't have a lot of mines on this side because I have built all of my mines in my enemy's territory. Partially to reinforce quickly, but also to, of course, steal his resource spots and make it so my troops are nearer to defend actually against those. However, that is going to be spotted by the Wildmen here, and my builder actually goes down, not paying attention there. A little bit of miss micro on my part, but I will be able to take down that log, what are these called, lumber mills. And so Solstice losing several of his farms here, in a little bit of trouble, but does have all these Wildmen still here. As my mine falls, I get a couple units of Goblins out. They need to actually get the Poison Blade. Meanwhile, on the top, were the Wolf Riders effective? Looks like the answer is partially. Looks like a couple of Angmar units still running around in the top here and attempting to chase down this battle wagon, but with the reinforcement of the Guardians here, the Phalanx here from the Dwarves, they will go ahead and trap this unit, and Angmar up top not looking good as the Dwarves, as he's basically just trying to buy time right now, I feel like. But the Dwarves are steadily building up forces, because every time that Angmar loses a unit, the Dwarf seems to save theirs. Now it looks like finally these Wildmen getting close to my base. It looks like my Goblins, or I have noticed that possibly they destroyed a mine of mine up there. So I'm going to be sending a bunch of my units up there to deal with that. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side, of course, this is one of the problems with building your mines. A couple of my half-troll marauders dying down here at the bottom, but this is, of course, the problem with building your mines on the enemy side, is that if you lose your position, you, of course, also lose all of your mines. Now, it looks like I will be able to take out the Wildmen here that were to the north of my base. Meanwhile, there's a huge engagement in the top. Tons of Orc Warriors being summoned by Angmar. He's trying everything he can think of to deal with these Dwarves. But it's like he just cannot produce the correct units, or enough units to actually damage these Guardians who are still alive. They're basically just on defensive stance, and now just taking tons of damage. The battle wagon comes in. He's going to try and plow through all the Orcs here. Does get a level up there at the last second. That's going to give him the flag, which does offer regeneration to nearby friendly units. And that actually goes down, throws down a heal. The Guardians survive. The battle wagon survives. The second unit of Guardians still alive. Unbelievable. I don't think he's lost a single unit, but not a single battalion yet. I believe this is the same battalion from the very beginning of the game. So now he's attempting to use, my ally Prendor is attempting to use pikemen to deal with this. And it looks like, no, these Guardians are still alive. Unbelievable. Up to level 4, this battle wagon giving them the bonus as well as health, and the Guardians are going to survive. So so the Dwarves have not lost a single unit, to my knowledge, a single battalion this entire game, and Angmar is basically just getting absolutely crushed at this point. Now it looks like I've been able to hold off most of these attacks. I'm stabilized for the most part, attempting to rebuild some of my mines here. Of course, I did lose several over by my opponent's base. Isengard actually sending up Solstice, that is, who is Isengard, sending up some of his Warg Riders to possibly assist here, as they're and actually some Wildmen too, as they're basically just trying to take out my ally and then worry about me. Obviously, they're going for sort of the weaker, or the base that is more pressed in upon right now. Went ahead, go ahead and take him out, and then of course you only have one opponent to deal with. In response to this, looks like I'm just going to, instead of helping my ally, by the time I got up here, probably it would already be lost. And actually, Prendor, realizing that he's basically dead, is going to go ahead and lead the game. With that, it is now a 1 versus 2. Can I possibly come back against 2 opponents? The Wildman's still up here stealing tons of resources. Isengard now has tons of resources because, of course, those Wildmen do steal resources when they attack a building. Most of my forces here actually have halted to start attacking. Azog is in here somewhere. I'm not quite sure where, but I'm sure he's in this mess somewhere. So, of course, that is a benefit. Of course, I would like to keep the Goblin King out also, who does provide, once he gets to higher levels, a leadership bonus to the Goblins, which can be very, very powerful. However, I don't believe I have enough income to afford him at this point. It looks like I will take out all of the Wildmen, but actually Lurtz is out here too, and my Goblins are attempting to chase him down. There is Azog up to level 5 already. And Lurtz, putting on the brakes and then starting up again, actually runs into the middle of the Goblin Horde in an attempt to sort of psych them out, but it looks like he will go ahead and fall. And with that, the Fortress of Isengard here actually looking to be in a bit of trouble. I'm not sure I have enough troops here to actually deal the damage I need to finish off this fortress, though. True, a couple of Goblins, a couple of Half-Troll Marauders, but will it be enough? I don't think so. Azog, of course, still is alive. He needs to cast that great Battle Rage ability, which I just do, and I'm going to attempt to focus down the fortress. Oh, his ally is Dwarf, so he might be able to get a Building Heal to save him. Let's go check Ha's things. Yes, he does have Building Heal available. So if he needs to, he can throw down the Building Heal on his allies' buildings here. And that's exactly what he's going to do. Now note that all of Isengard, or my allies, Angmar's structures have basically been destroyed. This mine, probably his last remaining structure. But with Azog still standing next to the tower, he is dealing a significant amount of damage to it. I do summon in some Wildmen, hopefully try and finish this off. Azog is just going to stand and take the damage. And believe it or not, even with the rebuild, Azog is going to take that down. Does not get the final hit, so he will not level up, but does survive for the moment. And with Isengard's fortress down, sounds like Azog, yeah, Azog did just fall. I do have the Goblin King out now, but with Angmar's fortress down, of course the Dwarves have now turned their attention to me. I, of course, realize this is coming. There isn't much I can do. The only thing I can do at this point is an attempt to take out all of Isengard's buildings very quickly before he can get something else up. It doesn't look like he has another building, although he does have, of course, a builder still on the map. So he is safe in that regard. Actually, he has 2 builders still up. And I managed to take down one of his structures. He looks like he still has 2 unit production structures, so as long as those remain, he will stay in the game. And of course, he can build something up here. I'm sure he has enough income, as he's had quite a bit of farms this entire game. He did destroy a couple in the beginning, but not nearly enough to limit his income that badly. Now, the Dwarves are moving in, and they do have the upgraded blades. Of course, they are moving in from the north. I'm surprised he doesn't have more units. He needs to move this builder somewhere closer so that he can reinforce this much quicker. And Isengard now, realizing that his base may be in trouble, that he may be about to lose, does go ahead and build a Uruk pit up in the top by his ally, so that will, of course, save him for the time being. However, it doesn't even look like I'm going to be able to take out Isengard's remaining structures, as I will just have to now deal with the Dwarves. Now, in order to deal with the Dwarves, it looks like I've gone for Drogoth, the Dragon Lord. Of course, realizing that when he was destroying Angmar's fortress, he had absolutely no sort of ranged units, no archers, no men of Dale, no what are the axe throwers? But of course, the men of Dale are now out for him, and they will go ahead and use that first black arrow ability. Drogoth, attempting to engage this directly, does have a decent amount of health, and that, of course, is why I did not reinforce my units in the lower left-hand side, taking out the Angmar fortress more quickly. It was because I was saving up for Drogoth, realizing that the Dwarves were coming for me. However, very clever move of Ha to get out those archers. Probably didn't realize I was going for Drogoth, probably just got it out for the fact of dealing with some of my buildings with range. However, it was a smart choice in being able to sort of predict my move, or at least countering my move. Now it looks like these couple units of dwarves are continuing to press on my fortress. I expect Azog, yeah, he's already back out. I do have a half-troll marauder here. They should be able to pull this off. However, not before these guardians take down a couple of my buildings. Will they be able to get a second goblin cave? It is possible. Now, where is Drogoth? Oh, he's just showing up here. I figured I might have sent him to attack the remaining Isengard buildings. It looks like I've sent a couple of half-troll marauders over here and might actually take this building down. It's on fire, but I don't think this half-troll marauder is going to be able to do it. And no, he does fall before I can take that down. And with the help of Drogoth, of course, my base has been completely cleaned up. Or the enemy forces in my base have been cleaned up. Now, what I need to do at this point is expand like crazy. I'm still completely stuck in this sort of bottom right-hand corner. I'm attempting to load up all my troops in here. Do I still have a mine over here? I believe this is mine. Yeah, that is mine. I'm not sure why he hasn't destroyed that. Maybe he just doesn't realize it because, of course, it is, as goblins, your structures need to be destroyed twice before they are completely gone. Now, it looks like I do actually have an Angmar builder still alive, and I'm actually using him to build a couple of farms. Don't know why I built these so close together. That must have been a little bit of a mistake on my part. Regardless, Drogoth actually took out, I believe he took out one of their builders there. I wasn't quite watching what happened, but he will at least get this mine, the furnace of Isengard there. And Drogoth proving to be a very valuable hero in this match. Now, I still, of course, do have both of my opponents to deal with, but Isengard at this time is going to go ahead and rebuild his fortress, realizing, of course, that he needs to get back in this game to help his partner. He does have a ton of archers here. Drogoth's going to get a great hit off there, basically take off 2 complete units, but Isengard archers are pretty tough, and it looks like they will get a couple of shots as Drogoth attempts to get away. Will he fall? Drogoth, I throw him in defensive mode and attempt to save him, and it looks like he will be able to get away and then go for some of these mines. There are a couple more furnaces around the front here for Isengard, so if I can spot those, that'll be a huge gain for me, as Isengard is basically trying to rebuild at this point. Now, it looks like most of my forces actually fell in an assault here. Of course, I do have several more coming back at home. It looks like Azog and the Goblin King have both fallen. I must have missed a pretty big battle right there as I attempted to finish off the remaining structures here of Isengard. Of course, I don't know about the structures up in the top left yet, but I can assume by now, whoa, Drogoth is so close to dying. Looks like I'm just going to park him there, although if I have enough money, let's see how much money I have. No, I'm almost completely out of money. I'm running at about 500 resources, 500 to 700, somewhere in there. And that's just not enough money to rebuild Drogoth. However, these Isengard archers are going to find him perched on top here, and Drogoth will go ahead and fall. So that is a major loss for me, because that's going to greatly decrease my ability to harass. Now, finally, the Dwarves, realizing that the game isn't completely won, it's time to expand, says Ha. Of course, he has a ton of units here. He definitely feels good about his army. He definitely feels good about his position. But went ahead, don't just give up. Don't stop producing mines. Don't stop producing structures. Don't stop producing units. Keep upgrading. Keep expanding. Keep building mines. The game is never over until it's over. And it looks like Isengard doing the same thing, continuing to expand. He has a couple of units just scattered all over the map. It looks like his fortress will finally finish, and that'll free up an extra one of his builders so he can continue to expand. And it looks like both of my opponents are attempting to just build up huge amounts of forces, and basically they are going to try to, I would assume, attempt to sort of squeeze me here from the left and from the top in a basic attempt to finish me off once and for all. I'm going to move out here. I do have the Goblin King. Is he up to level... Can't click on him. He is up to level 6. Does he give that bonus? Yeah, the leadership comes at level 4. So all these goblins do have that leadership bonus, which is just huge. However, there is some bats here, which of course counteracts the leadership bonus, but I've basically seen his fortress here, and I was going to run by it, but it looks like I will go ahead and turn around and engage now. Now, if I can get the Goblin King up to level 10, he does have That Call from the Deep spell, incredibly powerful spell, summons 3 large fire drakes, and of course that spell just devastates any sort of ground unit, even pikemen. The only thing you can really deal with it is if you have a lot of archers and take out the drakes, of course, before they can get to you. However, at this point, I don't think that either of my opponents has that. So if I can get the Goblin King up to level 10, that will be a huge benefit and a great chance for me to sort of stop any large Dwarven armies. Of course, I have noticed, I just realized that the Dwarves haven't gone for any Dwarven heroes, which I think to be a absolutely huge mistake. Dwarven heroes incredibly powerful, even against units like the Goblins that you can easily spam. Dwarven heroes add so much beef and damage to your army, especially damage to structures. So I think a big mistake there by the Dwarves. And it looks like Azog now showing back up Azog up to level 8, Goblin King up to level 8 as well. And I'm not sure why the Dwarves aren't attacking here. What is he doing is the question. It looks like he's just continuing to sort of build up his army, perhaps scared to attack for fear that he's going to go too soon. However, at least he's expanding with his mines, so he does have that for him. However, I would assume that I am rebuilding Drogath and that he is back on the way, seeing as how all of my... It looks like I just now started rebuilding more units. So most likely I was saving up there for a while to rebuild Drogath, would be my guess. As my army continues to move on the lower hand side here, I do want to of course get Drogath back out so I can continue to harass and deal with any ground units that do not have surface to air capabilities. Now I finally will be able to get down this war pit. That's going to get me a little bit of cash there. I believe that comes from probably from Azog. I believe Azog has this steal ability, or maybe it's passive ability. Looks like I've actually gone for the Watcher here, so I do actually have the Watcher in my pocket. Most likely, I am waiting for the Dwarven army to launch its attack. That's why I'm keeping it here. That's why I'm not using it now. And it looks like Lurt's actually going to be able to escape from Azog here, although it gets caught on the war pit. But still, it looks like he will be able to make it out. Meanwhile, most of these Goblin troops have died, leaving the Goblin King alone. However, the Goblin King has reached level 10. And I thought I heard the Watcher, but I don't see it. So I'm not sure what happened there. The Goblin King about to die needs to summon these fire drakes and does get it off just before he dies. That's absolutely perfect. If he dies now, then I can immediately rebuild him and of course get these fire drakes again very quickly. And the Goblin King will die. Those fire drakes will continue to attack. However, I do see the Dwarven army coming, so I throw down the Watcher, basically completely destroying his entire army. And at the same time, Drogoth is back out, and he's going to be able to clean up whatever the Watcher can. This is why you need Dwarven heroes, because one spell and your entire army is almost completely decimated. So the Dwarves making a huge mistake there, clumping up his units and letting me use a huge AoE, well, I guess it's an AoE spell, such as the Watcher, to completely destroy him. Now the Watcher will will retreat to its depths. However, doing so much damage to the Dwarves there. Meanwhile, my fire drakes were able to take out one of the other buildings. It looks like of Solstice here, but not having enough firepower to take out all of these buildings. Looks like Solstice still actually has a couple of orc laborers, I guess is what they're called down here, from those lumber mills that he had earlier that I was able to destroy with those half-troll marauders. Now, because of this, I have stabilized back at my base. What am I going to be upgrading to? I'm surprised I haven't gone for that for the Goblins upgrade pit, although I suppose I'm spending most of my money on trying to keep my heroes alive and rebuilding them almost constantly. Now, it looks like I am going to make another attack down here. I do throw down the Wildman, and I'm attempting to sort of take this area in the bottom left. However, the Watcher does go down for my opponent, and of course I realize now that he does have, for sure, that he does have his fortress back up. I guess I could probably have assumed it earlier from the bats that were back on the field. However, that Watcher will take out most of my troops, and Lurch down here, now up to level 4, should be able to finish off the rest of these. However, I do manage to get a mine out. This one is going to be snipped out by these dwarves. But I think the Watcher should take out this one. And that's going to mean, nope, he is going to go ahead and run out of time. So I do have a forward mine up here, but Lurtz, of course, spotting it. The Goblin King manages to get out at the last second. Is Lurtz going to get all the kills of these goblins? Nope, actually Lurtz realizes that the Goblin King is here, so he doesn't want to die, so he retreats. But with these mines up here, I believe I just lost my builder level. But with these mines up here, I can reinforce this quite easily. The Goblin King chasing down Lurtz is an epic chase here. It's a race, it's a race. And is the Goblin King faster? Yes, he is. The Goblin King is faster than Lurtz. And with that, he's going to get the kill and then throw down the fire drake to deal with all of these troops. That is going to be a huge bonus for me. As now with Drogoth off, he's almost completely cleaned out the mines in the north. There are a couple of mines remaining. Excuse me, my voice is getting so hoarse already from casting. This is already a 25-minute game. And still going. Now Drogoth does spot an Isengard camp here on the, I guess, northwestern side. Did I spot that builder? Looks like that builder will be able to escape. I'm just going to focus on taking these buildings down for now. Meanwhile, in the lower left-hand side, my troops are continuing to push forward. The fire drakes have all died. However, the Goblin King does remain. Where is Azog is the question, possibly being rebuilt. I am focusing right now on building lots of goblins, including the half-troll marauders, to help reinforce this. Goblin King, of course, now focusing down on the war pit up here. And Isengard, for all intents and purposes, has lost his initial position. Finally, from so long ago losing his fortress, it looks like he now has lost the remainder of his buildings. Really, only this war pit remains. He was able to take out my mines, at least temporarily, so I won't be able to reinforce this. Did the Goblin King die to these wargs? I didn't see where the Goblin King went. Possibly died to those wargs. Either way, at this point, I'm probably making enough money. I do have mines. I haven't spotting the mines, spotting the map with mines now. That's where Azog is. He's in one of those. So I have tons of mines. So I do have another mine over here, so I can reinforce this if I need to. But those mines help, of course, my goblins move around the map with great ease. And Drogoth, now up to level 10, is taking out more and more of the structures across the map. Will he spot this builder? The answer is no, but he will spot this furnace which just went up, I believe. And he can basically two-shot those now, as he is completely clearing this area of any of Isengard's troops. And you do see my mine starting to rebuild here, as the wargs do not attack it apparently if it's been destroyed once. And with Drogoth destroying that warg pit, that is going to allow this to be rebuilt completely. Meanwhile, the dwarves finally rebuilding. I don't know what the dwarves have been doing this entire time. He must have so much money. Let's check how much money Ha has. Yeah, he has 8,000 minerals. Or not minerals, 8,000 gold. Looks like Isengard has 10,000. And actually, I have over 5,000. So I'm finally getting up in the gold now. But with the dwarves, I just don't understand why he isn't building dwarven heroes. It looks like he's... Oh, finally, he does have King Dane out now. Okay, so he does have a dwarven hero out. This needs to happen a lot earlier, but he's finally has this huge army, fully upgraded troops. Is my Watcher back up? It's about halfway, but I do have the Balrog now. So first it was the Watcher, next it's going to be the Balrog on top of the dwarven troops. It seems like he just cannot catch a break at this point. Do the dwarves have a rock drop? No, it looks like he's gone for all level 5 powers. So just opting to go for those weaker powers and get lots of them versus going for those higher tier powers. And with the dwarves moving in here, it looks like they just missed my army that's moving to the north. We'll see if Drogoth running from a couple of archers now that Solstice has out. We'll see if my army turns around here. I might just assume that the Balrog can handle it, and may possibly call my troops back. But there's the Balrog, and here's one on the archers. And as the mighty Balrog spawns, all of those archers just go absolutely flying. Of course, at this point, I realized my error, seeing that I should have casted on these troops. The Balrog taking tons of damage, but I'm going to get off the perfect fire breath attack. Breathe fire, I guess, either way. And that is just going to completely roast all the Dwarven troops, just doing terrible, terrible damage. And with that, the Dwarven attack is certainly thwarted. Going to use that whip on Dane as he attempts to battle the dragon. Or not the dragon, but the Balrog. But for now, my Balrog is going to focus down the remainder of these units. A couple of spider pits at my base back here will easily hold off King Dane. And the Balrog, a little bit indecisive here, sees that Dane is not focusing them now. So actually is going to leave these to Drogoth, I would assume, and just work on taking out King Dane, especially while he's level 1. If I can take him out now before he gets any levels, that's going to be huge. Meanwhile, my troops are moving in to the north, catching a couple of mines along the way as I sort of push back my troops. Am I actually going to be able to come back and win this? Dane falls right before he takes down my mine. In the last second, the Balrog fulfilling his complete purpose, taking out the entire Dwarven army. And the problem, of course, with the Dwarves, he has all of this money, but he has, what, a single barracks. I do not know why he does not have 3 or 4 or even 5 barracks, even more. He has so much money. He absolutely has needed to build those extra production structures. Possibly just got overconfident, got lazy, said, hey, I got this in the bag. It's 1 versus 2. Why? Let's just, I'll just master the force and just end it. But that was not wise. He needed to build extra barracks so he could reproduce his army faster. Isengard is attempting to hold off the top here, but with the spawning of the Fire Drake to my level 10 Goblin King, I'm just going to be raking in the cash as they completely decimate all these ground troops, taking a little bit of damage from all of the Dwarven archers. I'm not sure it's going to be enough to hold off the rest of this attack. Saruman actually out now for Isengard. Actually gets a pretty good hit off there. Saruman, not the greatest hero, but I guess if he has the money, so why not? Azog stuck here in the center, stuck by Lurtz, who I would assume is either in the backside or already fell. Did the Goblin King fall? It looks like yes. I need to bring in Drogoth at this point. I need to build a mine up here to reinforce this. Looks like there are a couple of mines. Isengard actually building a warg pit up there. One problem I've noticed from my opponents is they haven't harassed me all game. Just completely ignoring. Azog actually is going to take out Sauron and then die himself with a final swing to get that extra 825 gold. An epic display there by Azog. Is he still alive, or is that... Yeah, that's just his glow as he died. Now, of course, there's the Goblin King. He's going to go down. Those Guardians going all the way up to level 4 from that. I believe they were at level 1 before. This is a single crossbowman that survives from this company. But Drogoth now spotting the Isengard structures here as he makes his way to the northwest to finish off my opponents. And he will take out that builder there. So that is a pretty big win for me. And he's going to continue to take off tons of these structures. My army now moving down to the left, I guess just searching, or this is perhaps just where I'm sort of building up my troops. It looks like I finally do have the upgraded blades. I did have that extra money. So of course I do throw down the treasure trove. I couldn't remember what it's called. But of course, with that extra money, why not go for upgraded troops? Of course, you want to spend that, you want to get better troops. No reason to keep that in the bank at this point, especially with me making so much that I have so many mines all over the field now. My vision is pretty, I would assume pretty great. Yeah, you can see, you kind of look here on the bottom right or bottom left towards the map. I basically have sort of the entire lower half of the map completely covered with mines. And I can see that entire thing. So, of course, I don't realize that there's mines up here yet for the Dwarves. However, the Dwarves have so few mines, I'm not sure that it matters. Watcher goes up here by Isengard to thwart my Goblin counterattack. From the bottom, of course, I do see all of Isengard's structures here now. And Drogoth should be able to show up and take this out easily. In fact, he's headed over there right now. However, I don't have anything to answer these Dwarves at the moment. However, I do have the Watcher back up, as well as the worm here that can easily deal with those units when they appear on my screen. And I would assume, do I have vision of this right? I would assume I have vision of that right now. At least it appears that I do. At least these half-troll marauders will for sure bring to my attention that these units are coming. Now it looks like finally the dwarves have split up their units, some going around the top. I'm not sure if that's intentional or if that just is how the pathing took them there. But it looks like for now my forces are going to be focused on taking out the Isengard sort of production here on the left-hand side. But with the dwarves charging my fortress, I am in a lot of trouble. Drogoth attempting to make his way back here. Now, of course, I do have the Watcher. I must be waiting for him to come into perfect position here. And I realize I can't wait any longer. It's time to throw it down. And that pops up right in the middle of all the archers, which are, of course, going to be the most effective against the Watcher because melee troops cannot get in range to actually deal enough damage. However, several of the archers were able to get out, and they will be able to take out that Watcher very quickly. Did I take out enough of the archers for Drogoth to clean up the rest? I think the answer is yes, although he's going to fall back for now. It looks like just let these goblins take out a couple more of the archers, possibly let my army reinforce here. Now there's tons of Isengard troops here. Isengard finally getting with the program, building tons of troops, upgrading them fully with the blades, with the armor, with the fire. So Isengard here doing a great job. The Goblin King is back out though, and these fire drakes are going to go ahead and finish off the rest of this attack. Now it looks like there is a rock drop going down. That's going to be by the dwarves. The dwarves finally going up to those higher tiers of spells, and that's going to take out several of my goblin pits. Looks like I get a little nervous, so I say, heck, why not throw down some spider pits here in the front to deal with these units if they manage to get through to my fortress. Now the fire drakes here are going to be able to clean up, it looks like, the rest of his troops. The worm also summoned to take out any of the remaining troops. The Goblin King alive and kicking. Looks like he's going to be doing just fine. And King Dane left to fend for himself at level 1 against all of these troops. Will target down one of the fire drakes. If he can get that, that'll be some good experience. But Drogoth and the Worm are going to make short work of Dane, I would assume, especially with these half-troll marauders here. And Dane not going to be able to get any experience from this battle. Instead, just going to grant me an extra 825 resources, which of course I'm going to use, I would assume, to rebuild some of my goblin caves. However, it looks like I was focused a little too much on that battle, and I need to get up some more production structures. I'm trying to look around the map to see what structures I have. Do I have the cash? Absolutely, 11 grand. I need to just mass, well, it looks like I've actually got some going up in the lower left-hand side, but with but with Solstice's troops moving in here, I'm going to have to abandon this position. Although not before my half-troll marauders catch one of his builders. I cannot believe I'm still in this game. The dwarves still... Okay, now it looks like he's finally gotten the swing of things. He doesn't have any more buildings, but at least he's producing units non-stop at this point. Look how many he has queued up. 2 here, 2 here. How many he's got here? Okay, no queues there. But still, I mean, for heaven's sake, man, build, an extra barracks or 3 or 5 so that you can produce your units more quickly. This would be over by now, but it looks like the dwarves going to be building up a force here. Is my Balrog back up in order to deal with this? The answer to that is yes. So this attack may not... Of course, my spell's coming back so quickly because I have a watchtower. Do I have more than one? Looks like I just have that single watchtower. This one's been destroyed by Drogoth. But with the Balrog up again, I can safely go ahead and launch this attack, which really isn't much of an attack anymore. It's more of a, I guess, battle or defense here with my remaining forces trying to take out Isengard and Lurtz and Saruman. Of course, the Fire Drake should be able to deal a lot of damage here. I would assume Saruman getting a nice hit off there. The Goblin King going down. Drogoth does show up to an attempt to help, or I'm sorry, Azog goes down. Goblin King about to fall, but Lurch goes ahead and takes him down. That's going to give them a bunch of extra money. Solstice. And wow, I just cannot believe this battle is still going on. The Dwarves still amassing up troops here, but of course this is in my range of vision, and he made a horrible mistake. Oh my gosh, so much damage, and absolutely all of the Dwarven troops completely destroyed. He does have a couple of reinforcing units here, but nothing that the Balrog basically takes no damage from these units, and I assume that's going to be a breathe fire, which is sometimes pretty hard to hit. But not in this case, as I am going to easily burn away the remainder of those troops. Now it looks like I was able to win the battle up here. However, Isengard does have a lot of archers remaining. This is now a 40-minute game. Unbelievable. Drogoth is going to be making his way finally to the north. Spots a ton of archers and a level 3 mine here from the Dwarves. He's going to attempt to take that out, but is it going to be enough damage? Needs to pull back Drogoth, but these fire archers are doing tons of damage to him. Of course, I can rebuild him if I need to, but I'm going to go ahead and use the Summon Dragon ability. I have my second 25 power at this time. And with that, I'm going to launch an attack, finally, on their remaining stronghold. Drogoth here, catching view of their entire base. And the Summon Dragon here throws down the flame, completely killing one building, weakening a couple others. Drogoth going to use his burn or fire attack. But that's not going to be enough to destroy any of these buildings. I think that dragon actually is taking that building out. The Summon Dragon here. And he's going to continue to press forward and attempt to take down more of these production structures, more of these troops. And back at home, I'm basically just amassing up troops. Again, it looks like I've made the mistake of not going for enough goblin caves. I'm actually guilty of this myself. I, of course, need to build more fishers to build more half-troll marauders, and continue my assault more quickly when my troops are destroyed. My dragon here will go ahead and run out of time, though, so he will retreat as he gets one final fire breath off. And with that, the Dwarves and Isengard pinned to this top left corner. Only a couple of units around the map remain for them. Most of their forces do stay in that top left-hand side. Now Isengard wisely grabbing one of the watchtowers here that will give him the ability to refresh those powers more quickly. He does have the Watcher at the ready, and he's already up to 16 power points himself, so he's of course building towards one of those 25 powers. We'll have to see which one of them he chooses, as I believe... I'm not sure which one the Watcher built into. It might be... The Watcher might just only build into one, but I forget which one at this time. Possibly that Summon Dragon that I have already used myself. Or with my troops built up again, I'm going to launch an attack now. And I would assume that my heroes are either in this group. Yeah, the Goblin King has to be in here, and Azog probably as well. Drogoth most likely being rebuilt right now. Finally getting another builder out to build, I would assume, a mine in the top left so I can reinforce this army more easily. However, what I don't realize is that the Watcher is up, so I need to be careful not to bunch up my troops. But I think that's exactly what you're supposed to do with Goblins. So that Watcher, if he throws it down, especially right here, would just destroy my army. I have no idea what that was. And that is what he's going to do. He's going to throw down that Watcher. And all my troops are going to attempt to get away from there as quickly as they can. My heroes, of course, will survive that easily. Wildman going down by Isengard here too to take out more of my troops. And now Isengard moving through the center, and the Dwarves regaining at the top, so I now have two forces to worry about. And my attack force here basically stopped in its tracks. If the Goblin King survives, of course, he does have those fire drakes in his back pocket at the moment, so he can summon those if he needs to. Meanwhile, my half-troll marauders, realizing that the Dwarves are again pushing from the north, Isengard has a sizable force to the south, or to the west rather, and it looks like they have decided the time to move in is now. They have cleared out all of my mines on the lower side here, so I don't probably see this as coming. Of course, I do have this one, so I will spot it before it gets right next to my base. But definitely not quick enough to respond to this, I would assume. I do have the Watcher and the Worm both back up, so I guess I assume that I can probably deal with these easily. Probably going to use the Worm. Possibly. It looks like my troops still do have a couple alive up here as they continue to attack. Now, as both of these units converge on my fortress, though, it looks like it almost might be a base race at this point. A race to the finish. Drogoth comes out, though. And, oh, I think that's a Sauron ability, or maybe it's just like vision. That's one of the powers. I'm not sure it's too long to play. But Fire Breath from Drogoth here is going to clean up most of this army. I need to use the Worm and the Watcher, though, to save the remainder of my base, which is basically crumbling around me. Drogoth attempting to do all he can to stop Isengard, but there's just so many troops that it's proving difficult. Now, thought I did hear the Worm come up. Nope. Not use that up. And the Rock Drop goes down by the Dwarves here. To finish this off, however, I have reached the Dwarven Fortress in the top of the base. All of my production structures basically going down at this point. I have no more production structures except... actually, losing that one as well, so I have no more production structure. I'm not even sure if I have a builder on the field at this point. Yeah, I do have one builder, at least one builder remaining. Drogoth's still desperately trying to clean this up. The Spiderlings doing a nice job themselves. Meanwhile, in the top right, the castle here of... the fortress here of Hoth in a lot of trouble as my forces are attacking from the backside. Azog, level 10, using his rage ability to attempt to take this down as quickly as possible. Have the dwarves used their rebuild already? Yes, they have. So if this fortress goes down, that is pretty significant. I'm not even sure if it's a remaining builder or not. Do they have one in the mines? Not that I can see. But it looks like a couple of units still remain here, including alerts. Drogoth goes down from these archers. I do have the Spiderlings remaining, though, and the Spiderlings are going to be able to take out any ground units that are close to the fortress. Meanwhile, while my fortress survives, I do throw the Worm up here to help me in my attack. Now, it looks like I am actually going to throw down the Watcher here, too, just to continue to clean up these forces to the top left-hand side. And the Dwarves, this is their only remaining structures, these two right here. My fortress will survive, although just barely. Now, how much money do I have? I have over 17,000, so I definitely can easily rebuild all of my heroes at this point. How much money do the Dwarves have is the question. The Dwarves have only about 5,000 now. Looks like they spent most of their money upgrading their men. Which can, of course, use up tons of money very, very quickly. So all they have left, it looks like, is these two mines, no builders at this point. So all he can produce is going to be catapults, battle wagons, demolishers, and men of Dale, as well as axe throwers. So those are the only options he has at this point, and he's only working off of two mines, although they are level 3. Neither one upgraded, though, with the Dwarven Riches bonus, which of course triples the income of that structure. So neither one of those has that, so he will be on a fixed income now. Meanwhile, my fortress, of course, surviving the attack here, and finally getting out a builder, starting to rebuild here. This is now a 49-minute game, and with Isengard and the Dwarves, I guess trying to make a final push. However, they haven't been able to take out my fortress this entire time. I almost have the Balrog back up. I almost have the Dragon back up. I just have so many powers at this point that all of their troops just do not stand a chance. Now, how close is Isengard to having their 25 power? Not that close. Isengard actually going here for a ton of level 10 powers, 3 level 10 powers, all the level 5 powers, and the level 15. So no level 25 for Isengard. The Dwarves have lost their fortress, of course. So even if they were close to 25, which they really weren't that close, they can no longer use the powers because they, of course, did not have the fortress. Looks like they are going to run into the Goblin King here, who throws down a couple of fire drakes before he gets focused enough. These fire drakes dealing a lot of damage, however, Saruman can deal his own damage as he knocks those back. But I am going to be summoning the Balrog here to clean up the remainder of my enemy forces, and it looks like I actually might come back and win this. Isengard has a couple of Warg Riders in the bottom left here, although they're just not going to be able to take down this fortress by themselves. They just have no DPS against a fortress. Or their DPS is so low against the fortress. The Balrog here just whipping these archers into shape and to death, as he will go ahead and just leap right over them as they sort of tickle his tail as he gets shot with a couple of fire archers as he flies away there. But the Balrog mainly intent on focusing the remainder of these buildings here. He is going to do a double fly move. We'll get in range here. Might use the whip on this catapult, which my guess is what I would do playing now. But I do go ahead and use that summon dragon ability, which now is up. And buildings here, Isengard and the Dwarves in a lot of trouble. Fire breath goes down, taking out 3 buildings in one breath. The summon dragon focuses on these buildings up here. The Balrog is almost out of time. Now, do I have reinforcements coming with this? Drogoth's stuck back here at home, possibly just back to defend, and I'm spending all of my powers over here. The Dwarves in a lot of trouble now. He will lose one of his last 2 remaining buildings. This is his only remaining building. If this falls, he will be defeated. And the dragon spots it, throws down a fire blast, and Ha-Te-Bree Heads is going to be defeated. It is now a 1 versus 1. I have completely come back here. Isengard is on the back foot, and these wildmen take out this builder as he spawns. The dragon finishing up the rest of the troops there, and with Isengard, I believe this is his only remaining building. He has plenty of mines around the map, but to my knowledge, he doesn't have any more unit production structures. I just don't think he has any more. He has a couple of wargs up here, but that's not going to be enough to take out, well, really anything. So it looks like I have reached his fortress now. I just need to reinforce this. Lurtz is still alive, but he is attempting to make his way back here. Looks like he's trying to rebuild his armory. I have no idea why he's building his armory. He needs to build, like, a ton of Uruk pits. I'm surprised he never went for Uruk Berserkers or any of the more advanced units, sticking basically just to those tier 1 units, although he did have them upgraded. Just never enough reinforcements, it seems like for my opponents. And with that, my fortress is still alive, still doing well. Now, does Isengard have any spells up here? He does have the Watcher available to him if he needs it. My Worm is almost up, however, and my Watcher is almost up as well. Looks like the Goblin King is now going to be pushing in with a couple of Spiderlings and Half-Troll Marauders. He does throw down the Watcher to deal with this single unit of Half-Troll Marauders. I really am sure I agree with that. As Lurtz probably could have taken out the entire thing by himself, although maybe not, he's dead. So take that back. But Drogoth here spotting the builder, spotting the armor. I have no idea why he built this. Maybe you have to have that in order to build the upgrades for your troops. But he doesn't even have any troops, so what's the point of having upgrades for them? This makes no sense. Isengard attempting to fortify his fortress now, but it's just not going to be enough as he's going to lose that for sure. The Fire Drake survives. A couple of Fire Drakes survive. Did the Goblin King survive? I don't think so. But Drogoth can basically take the rest of this out himself. Isengard, at this point, only has, to my knowledge, only has this fortress. I'm trying to look around the map, see what he has. He has a couple of Warg Riders down here. Still has these lumber workers. He has started rebuilding in the lower left-hand side, his original base. So he is going to be throwing up several of these pits in an attempt to get out some units and launch an attack. Now, it looks like I am being a little bit lazy myself. However, I do have plenty of goblin pits out now to spawn units. Drogoth is going to be headed back here. I might have spotted these warg riders, and Drogoth realizes he can't take this down right now by himself, so he will go ahead and fall back. This is now a 55-minute game, almost an hour, and it looks like I'm actually going to be able to come back and win it, even without my partner Prendor losing so early in the beginning. Isengard, of course, not out of it yet. However, if he couldn't win with the Dwarves, how can he win by himself against me? And Drogoth spots those wargs. That's exactly why he came back. And we will focus on the wargs. Of course, have no way of fighting Drogoth, so they are just going to be destroyed by him. And that'll clean up the rest of those units. Now, it looks like I have gone for mass goblin warriors in an attempt to deal with the fortress here. Really, I need to get out Azog, the Goblin King, and focus down that fortress as quickly as possible. Saruman attempting to take down this mine by himself. Does throw down coercion. Did he actually put any of my troops? I'm not sure. Lurk's focusing down the Goblin King, but not able to take him out fast enough as these Goblin Warriors get onto Saruman. However, it's a nice hit off, taking out several of those units. Saruman now up to level 5. I do summon some Wildmen. He summons the Wildmen, so I summon the Worm. Saruman may be able to escape here. Goblin King throws down Fire Drakes, and it looks like through all of this, my mine will not survive. Lurk's actually able to take out the Goblin King there. However, these Fire Drakes, of course, still doing a lot of damage, including the Worm. And now, finally, Isengard is just like, screw it, I'm just going to attack with everything I have. He's throwing everything he has at me, including the kitchen sink, and telling all of his troops to just charge at this point. He has to take down my fortress. He has to stop my powers from regenning. However, at this point, I have the Watcher ready. I have the Wildman, and the Balrog and the Dragon are only moments away from being summoned. And once they are summoned, this fortress is gone, and it won't be long before I discover his remaining building in the lower left here. How much money does Isengard have? 12,000, so he's sitting pretty with money. I have 13,000, so we're about the same. Money at this point in the game just not a problem for either one of us. But it looks like Drogoth and my Fire Drakes continue to harass her, taking out the remainder of his structures in the top left, except, of course, his fortress. Now, Darkness is cast, however, with the Goblin King. Looks like these, I'm not sure why they have their bonus. But the Watcher stops the attack in the lower left-hand side, so all of the troops that he sent to attack my fortress, of course, gone. And these powers just coming up so quickly that I've been able to hold off every single attack, and with that, Solstice realizes that the game is over and goes ahead and leaves the game. Wow, almost an hour-long game, 58 minutes. Incredible battle there between myself and Prendor versus Solstice and Ha. So guys, thanks for tuning in. If you stayed for this whole cast, I'll be very impressed. But guys, thanks again for tuning in. Stay tuned to my channel for more Rise of the Witch King games and possibly other games to come. Master Cloud signing out.